Hello and welcome to Seeking Light, Latter-day Gospel Insights, a place for thoughtful exploration of gospel principles from a faithful Latter-day Saint perspective.
Many people argue the second coming can't happen anytime soon because there's still a long checklist of prophecies to be fulfilled. But is that really our call to make? Prophecies may not unfold the way we expect, and the Lord works in ways beyond our comprehension. What gives us the authority to dictate how prophecy must be fulfilled? Consider the Pharisees. They had the scriptures, yet they failed to recognize that Jesus' ministry was the very fulfillment of Isaiah's prophecies. Are we making the same mistake? Do we see signs of the times unfolding before us, yet dismiss them simply because they don't fit our preconceived notions? Have we ever stopped to consider that some of our assumptions might not even be doctrinally sound? That our interpretation of prophecy might be flawed? Take, for example, the prophecy that the Lord will appear at His temple in the New Jerusalem in Jackson County, Missouri, at His second coming. Many assume this means a temple must first be built by human hands, as if to say, once construction begins, then I'll believe the second coming is near. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if the temple appears beneath Him as He descends from heaven? Would that really be harder to believe than the parting of the Red Sea or the turning of water into wine? After all, Revelation 21 verse 2 states, "I saw the holy city, the New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God." This isn't to suggest a bizarre theory about how the temple will be built, but rather to illustrate that assuming traditional construction doesn't necessarily make it so. And that's just one possible explanation. The church has a visitor center there, for example, that was constructed to be one of 24 temples on the temple complex. It isn't a dedicated temple yet, but it was in fact constructed to someday be a temple. It may be possible that this is the temple He says He'll appear at, or it could be something completely different that we aren't given the capacity to consider. Let us not become as the Pharisees, who believed in their own powers of interpretation rather than being open to inspiration. And let us not be as the unrighteous that it was prophesied would say, "The Lord delayeth His coming." Who are we to unequivocally declare when the second coming will or will not occur? Are our powers of deduction, based on external evidence, sufficient to inform God? Are we so certain of the timeline for the coming of the Son of Man, relying only on the extremely limited cognitive abilities of our mortal minds? Did not 5 of the virgins also believe they understood the timeline for the bridegroom's arrival, assuming they had enough time to leave and fetch oil before he came? How many examples do the scriptures provide in which God's ways turned out to be different from what man had assumed? It is not for us to determine or proclaim the timeline of Christ's return. Our responsibility is to heed the admonitions of the prophets and apostles, who have clearly stated that the coming of the Lord is imminent. Compiling lists of reasons why His coming cannot be soon strays from their teachings and instead fulfills the prophecy that the unrighteous will say, "The Lord delayeth His coming." And isn't that very element of surprise precisely what qualifies as a thief in the night?
Thank you for watching. I hope you've been inspired and uplifted. If so, consider sharing this video with others to help spread the light. What's a spiritual insight you've had lately? If you're comfortable, share it in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next video.